the Know Your Gear podcast.
Antique Rocker says, hey, I heard from several sources that Vermont has more certified luthiers. Sorry, I'm laughing. Sorry, certified luthiers. I always think of master luthier, for those that remember that joke from the show. Okay, so anyways, has more certified luthiers than any state. Their guitars show up in local sales sites. What is your opinion on private luthiers guitars? So everyone's bias. It's what, I told you, everybody's got a bias. It's just knowing what the bias is. So I'm going to give you my bias, and then, you take that bias with the information. Over the years on the channel, and this is where the bias comes from. Over the years doing the channel, when you have this ability to make a video and maybe get 10,000 or tens of thousands of guitar players to see something, you realize, like one day, the day I realized for myself was, I made a video and the company of a pedal. I made a video of a pedal, and that company made $1 million off the pedal. Now, I know what you're thinking, like, how do you know that? Well, because they are one of the few companies that had my physical address, and they scared the hell out of me and my wife because they sent like a professional chef to my house that knocked on my door. And when we opened the door, she was like, hi, I'm a professional chef from some catering company, some high-end expensive catering company, and I was commissioned to make you this stuff. And it was a card, and it says, thank you so much, you sold $1 million worth of these pedals. And anyways, now the funny part of that story is, because I can always hear Ralph in my head, my friend Ralph, he goes, man, you make a company of $1 million and they give you, some food. I'm like, yeah, but they said thank you, and they told me up that point, back then, YouTubers didn't know. The channels had no idea who was listening or what we were doing. So I would make a video and people would say like, oh, you're a shill. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm a shill. I didn't know. You just didn't know. Okay. Some were in the game, but most of us were just making content, and you're aware that something's happening, but you didn't know what. The reason why that's important, this all goes into the luthier thing. And so what happened was, over time, you start realizing like, wow, I've sold a lot of stuff. In fact, if there was one, like I tell horror stories of the store all the time, there's one horror story of this channel, and it was that a small company, very small, like one person owns the company and makes stuff, made a product, sent me the product. I came with this great idea. I said, hey, I don't think you're presenting this product right. I want to make a video presenting this product. And they were like, they didn't see my vision, and but they didn't have any choice because I was probably the only channel that responded to them with any kind of volume of views. And I did the video, and the video went viral, and they made a lot of money. And then they took the money and they spent it all at the NAMM show, and they lost all the money at the NAMM show. And then they came back to me and said, now remember, they didn't pay me to do this video. I guess I got a free product that was worth about $30. And they said, hey, we'd like you to do another video. And I was like, are you kidding me? Right? Now, I tell you all this because, so you understand at some point I realize like a lot of channels, you realize you have some kind of value here and you're giving it to people, or you're trading it. Like I said, it's mostly a trade. Hey, everybody goes, it must be nice to get a free guitar. And I'm like, I don't know, I haven't got a free guitar. Not from somebody who's not my friend. Usually it's a trade. They just want to trade the value of something. So I always tell people, I go, imagine you went to your work tomorrow, and instead of your paycheck, they're like, hey, you like toaster ovens, right? We'll give you 6 of them, right? That's like trading. So my point to the story is, with this, I don't want to say power, with this reach, that's the best way to put it. With this reach, I have reached out, I've talked to so many small luthiers, thinking, why not help them? Fender doesn't need my help. Gibson doesn't need my help. PRS doesn't need my help. They don't need my help. They sell lots of guitars. I don't need to subsidize billion-dollar companies by doing free content for them, right? Doing a video of another Squire so they can, make, 8 figures. And I literally, so I reach out. I have been doing this now for easy 8 years. In 8 years, I could honestly tell you 90% of the luthiers I've worked with have been the most horrible experiences of my entire life, if not just on YouTube. If I didn't get screwed by one, or they didn't do half of what they promised, every horrible situation has come out. This is my bias. Again, I'm just telling you the bias. I'm not trying to tell you not to buy from luthiers. I'm telling you, this is just why you don't see as much of them on the channel. I try all the time. The problem is, it comes in some kind of back and forth problem. It either is they don't do what they promised, which is weird, or they don't understand, like, I'm going to report the experience I have. And sometimes I get to the point where I make the video and I go, if I report this experience, this is a horrible experience I've just had. And I go, this is not what they want me to say, right? This is crazy. Or more importantly, what's happened on the back end is I have got the product. Everything did, it did get here. It was fine. And then what happens is I do the video, and then 50% of the time, and I feel like I'm rounding down for sure, 50% of the time, you guys start emailing me. Hey, I watched your video. I bought that guitar from that company, and it's been 6 months and they won't respond to me. And now I have to get on the phone and like, hey, respond to my viewers. Otherwise, I'm going to have to slam you publicly on the podcast. I don't say that specifically, but you understand that's probably what's been conveyed. Like, hey, why do I have to be involved in this? And so because of that, now, when we work with luthiers, smaller companies, we vet them. And I can tell you right now, most of the time, they go right away as soon as we try to vet them. I put a lot of time and effort. If you see like a company like Beltone, I want you to understand something. When I highlight a small company like Beltone, who's Steve, the owner, is in Florida, makes great guitars, I have literally spent, I can't say hundreds of hours, that's ridiculous, but weeks of, whole work weeks devoted to just vetting him, reaching out, who's had a bad experience, who's had a good experience, who is he not sent a guitar to that's paid for it? Can he make any guitars in a timely manner if I send him this effort? And that takes a lot of time and money. So because of that, we've actually started making the smaller companies, pay us for the time to vet everything. And so, most of them either can't afford it, which is fine. When I say fine, I mean, we can work with that, or they just refuse to do it because they just, but you gotta understand, it's a little different. It's so much easier to make a video. This is the sad part. It's so much easier to make a video, not because of Fender pays me. Fender's never paid me, and I don't even work with Fender directly ever. Companies like them, at least when I do a Fender video, I know when I do the video, I'm not going to get an email on Thursday going, hey, I bought a Fender guitar from Sweetwater and they won't return my calls, and I think they took my money. So to answer your question, that's the thing about small businesses, is that there is a lot of really amazing ones. And I would say, just to be kind and not sound cynical, 2 out of every 3 are a problem. So when I find good ones, I recommend them. Absolutely. I absolutely recommend them. And I try to keep pushing on them if I can. If I could do another video for them, I can. And if you ever want, I won't probably name names because here's the problem. This is the punching down, punching up theory. Some of these builders, if I out them and say things about them, I could not collapse their company, but I could cause them irrevocable damage talking about them, over some silly things. So I will tell you one funny story, and it's just the one that always kind of sticks in my head as the funniest. I once had a small... Actually, I'll tell you 2 funny stories because they're 2 small builders. I had a small builder reach out to me. By the way, I'd like to also point out that 99% of the time, the builders reach out to me. It's not the other way around, right? I'm just interested in them because I'm like, oh, a small builder, someone we can highlight, a small builder. I've done videos of small builders like Fox 3 Guitars, and I was like, this is really fun. Let's do a video. And as soon as I did the video, everybody put, they're out of business. I'm like, what? They're not making guitars. I don't know if that's true. That's what you can read the comments. That's what it says in the videos. And we sent them an email and never got a response. So I don't know if they're still around or not. So Fox 3 Guitars, you're still around. Let me know. I had a builder reach out and they go, hey, we want to build you a guitar. We want you to do a video. And I said, okay, cool. Let's do the thing. And, obviously the trade will be, I'll keep the guitar. Okay. And, that sounds good. It is good, but keep in mind, I have a lot of guitars. I'm not really interested in a guitar at this point. I really want to make videos. I like doing what I do. So I go, but we'll make it work because that's the best way to work with you. And I screwed up. I mentioned that they were building me a guitar on this channel, and apparently you guys flooded them with orders. And then they basically told me, not up front, but I found out months later that they got so many orders. They're like, well, we put yours on the back burner to make everybody's guitars. So I was like, oh, cool. Well, hey, that's good for them, right? So a year or 2 went by and somebody actually asked me hey, you never did a video of the guitar. I'm like, well, they never sent the guitar. And then somebody I know from the channel, a patron, sent me a message saying, hey, I was at their facility and they showed me your guitar. And I go, oh, okay. I kind of had given up on that. It's been 2 years. I didn't know they were going to still build me a guitar. And so I ordered a guitar from them. I'm like, cool. And then I found out later the guitar they showed them, that wasn't my guitar. They were just, when they asked, they go, aren't you making film a guitar? And they go, yeah, we are, buy a guitar. But that's not the funny story. The funny story that happened to me, well, that was funny, but this one's the funniest. A builder reached out to me, asked me to build a guitar. I came up with this crazy concept of guitar. I spent all this time figuring out, like, this will be great. I sent it to them and they said, this seems strange. And I said, yeah, but it's going to make a great video. It'll get people excited about your brand because, at the end of the day, I make content. I make interesting content for people, and it's, that's how I pay my bills. It's not, I don't get commissions from your guitar sales. I want you to look great, but I really need the video, and I want to make the video fun. And so I came with this crazy idea because it would have a crazy look and a crazy title, and it'll be fun and get your name out. And of course, the quality is what people matters, and they understand that they can custom order something different. And so I have them build the guitar, and forever goes by, and ever, like at least a year, at least, maybe longer. And I haven't heard from him. And then one day I'm watching YouTube and there's another YouTube channel slightly bigger than mine. I'd say, well, slightly bigger, a couple 100,000 bigger. They have my guitar. And I'm like, hey, that's my... So my first thought, you can imagine, is, did that freaking YouTuber copy my idea for that guitar? That's a weird... How would they know? How would they know? I figured out what happened. When I say I figured out, I mean I found out what happened. They talked to a bigger YouTuber than me and they sent him my guitar. And then the irony of this is, apparently that YouTuber didn't sell very many guitars, so then they reached out to me afterwards and said, hey, we want to make you a guitar, and here's what they did. Obviously it didn't make sense to make me that guitar, and I also did something that was probably at the time dumb. I didn't tell them that I saw that they had sent my guitar to somebody else. I didn't say anything. I just said, yeah, if you want to send the guitar, we'll do the video. They sent me a guitar, and the guitar they sent me was so butt ugly. It was so weird. It was just this rando thing that they made. So, another fun story. A company reached out, because a lot of them, they always reach out the same thing. And they go, hey, we want to make you a guitar, and then you can tell your audience about it. In other words, sell our guitars for you. And I said, cool. And they sent me a guitar, and they said they had a weird story. The story started weird, which is like, we're going to send you a shop. A lot of them want to send the guitar that's in the shop. We'll send the guitar. It's going to be a little ragged, a little beat up. Okay. And I said, don't worry about it. They sent the guitar, and I get it. And everything about this guitar is pinging me the wrong way. All the hardware is really inexpensive Chinese hardware that you can, you see on the $200 guitars or $100 guitars. The truss rod, everything is wrong. Like, look, you get a sense of where everybody builds guitars. It's not that everything's metric and some stuff are standard. It's just, you just kind of know what stuff. And the finish they were using, and there was a bunch of things they were using. And I was like, I've never seen any actually U.S. small luthier shops build guitars like this. So I reached out to them really kindly and said, hey, is this guitar made overseas? And they said, no, we make them here. And I go, there's some weird choices that you made, especially in this some of the measurements, some of the spacing. And I said, so so this one, you definitely made this one, right? And then as the story unfolds, it started unfolding as, well, the plan is, once I do the video, they're going to order a bunch of those from Asia. And I'm like, what? Wait, what's going on here? And then it slowly comes out that they don't really build guitars. They had these prototypes made in Asia, right? And once I do my video, everybody wants this. They're going to order a bunch. And I'm like, now I want to point out to you that they wanted this guitar to sell for $2,400. What I thought I was looking at, by the way, it was really cool design. I'd say one of the coolest unique designs. I think they designed it. I'm not sure. But anyways, my point to the funny part is, I would say this guitar should cost about $299 to $399 max. And so that's my answer to your question. That's what you deal with. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to still deal with this stuff, but I'm also going to keep vetting them and deal with all the things. Because again, once you make those mistakes, I don't want to make them again. I've made a lot of them. When it comes to pedal companies, we talked about this, amp companies, I take my time. I make sure that I don't just do the romance video, which is, I get it. I say, hey, they sent it to me. It's a lot hard, it's a lot easier to do when you're a newer channel. You get the romance. Somebody sent you something and you feel pretty inspired because you're like, wow, somebody really respects what I do, and now I can't wait to tell all my audience about it. And really, what you're doing, you're setting your audience up for disaster, and you just don't know it. So, I gotta stop saying literally all the time. Sorry, guys. I really, really mean this when I say it's, I'll continue to vet stuff, and especially new products and stuff. I'm actually doing that right now. There's a product that I want to release this video right now, but the product I think it's legitimate. I think it is cool, but I just want to keep going and make sure it's right. So, so that's my long, very long, and probably boring answer, Antique Rocker, to tell you that I think you should support local luthiers. I think you should support small businesses, but vet them. Ask to talk to customers. Ask to try to find out stuff. Because of the fact that it's unproven product from an unproven business, and it's not even as simple as, you get it and it's not what you like. It could be you don't even get it. You don't even get the product. I would say, I don't know, 20%. I'll just keep it at 20. I'm just, I'm going off feeling here, not actual numbers. I don't have stats and figures for me. But so 2 out of 10 times when I talk to a small business about a product, it never even comes to fruition. They don't even make anything or send anything. And that's even when I kind of gave away everything, saying, hey, I'll just do it on a loaner, I'll do that, like I said, if I think there's a video there for you guys. I think there's something interesting. Because keep in mind, I make the money if you guys watch the video. And when I say watch, it's not how many clicks I get, it's how long you stay engaged. I need you guys to stay until the end of the video to make any money. So if I can make a good video that is interesting and you guys can learn from, I make money. It doesn't matter if they sell 10 or 100 guitars. I want them to do well. That's part of the co-sponsorship, but it's not paramount for me. It's not the thing I care about the most. So if you like this clip and you'd like to watch another one, you can click right here. And if you want to see the entire episode of the podcast, you can click right there. As always, thank you for your time and know your gear.